Soon, trees and shrubs will be in full bloom, and here with the dirt is horticulture expert Ryan Pankow. Ryan, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. Springtime is upon us, and we are coming out of the gray season, and people are trying to figure out how to make their yards look beautiful. So you've got some great suggestions.
Yeah, well, nice to see some pops of color coming up. I mean, you can see it in our woodlands and our gardens right now. But I get this question a lot, or what is some early season flowering things I can add to my landscape? And you know me, I'm pretty focused on native gardening, so I'm usually trying to answer that question with a native plant.
Yep.
Where in our woodlands we see all these ephemeral wildflowers blooming right now. They aren't as adept for cultivation as you might think, so they're not really an option for a lot of us. They're really sensitive plants. So I often go to trees and shrubs. They're actually kind of out of the native plants, kind of the things that right now are blooming, are providing a valuable resource for pollinators, but also beauty in our gardens. So,
and what's cool about that is, you know, once they establish, every year they just perform. They do their thing, and it adds that other layer of color. So what are some of the trees and shrubs that you guys recommend?
Well, gosh, one of my favorites, and is blooming right now, is actually probably reaching kind of the end of its bloom period, is spice bush. So it's an understory shrub that has just a beautiful yellow flower. I often explain it as kind of a substitute for forsythia, but what I really like about it is it's shade tolerant. So you can plant it in a shade garden in almost 100% shade, and it's going to do fine. So that's one of my favorites, just as a small shrub.
And that's called spice bush.
Spice bush.
All right.
Yeah, and you can see it around central Illinois. Tiny yellow flowers just all over.
Yeah, there it is on the screen. Look at that.
Yeah, really,
very delicate.
Really beautiful little blooms on that. Another of our native shrubs is black chokeberry, which maybe gets a little taller and skinnier than spice bush. I think a spice bush is kind of a wider, smaller shrub, but has little white flowers and not quite ready to bloom yet. In about the next month or so, we'll see chokeberry starting to bloom, but it has the benefit of just a spectacular fall color. You know, so when fall time rolls around, that little shrub just has a really great dark red color.
So you get two showings from that plant. Fantastic in the spring and great in the fall on the way out. We only got about a minute left, so what else do we have on our list
Sure,
here?
and another favorite is getting into the larger size plants is serviceberry. You can see those around quite a bit. There's a native variety, there's a native species and some cultivars, but great plant that blooms early, has nice fruits, also great fall color. One of my favorite trees for early spring blooms is the redbud. That's what we're seeing right now, and just they are covered in those pinkish reddish blooms.
Love that plant. I mean, it just captures your attention as soon as it blooms.
Oh, absolutely. And it blooms for a long time period. Kind of a plant I feel like just goes with it in our native woodlands is dogwood. So white flower, just slightly later than redbud.
Dogwood is my #1 favorite, I gotta say. It looks like something out of a storybook.
Absolutely.
When the flowers are in full bloom, it's just like this crowning glory in the landscape.
And often has good fall color. So that's another one.
That's awesome.
Last category I've kind of mentioned are viburnums. There's a number of native species. There's non-native species as well. But they bloom from the non-natives very early in the season to our natives are probably kind of April, May, June. But great, spectacular display. I mean, it's a shrub just covered in white flowers.
Wow.
And then also usually pretty awesome fall color on all those species. So
that's amazing. Well, you've got an awesome blog where you explain a lot more in detail about all of these things. So if you want to learn more and check out Ryan's latest blog post, we'll have that link for you over at ciLiving.tv.